What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Metacom Toys Mafex Knightfall Batman. And so here we have Knightfall Batman posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories. Knightfall Batman does come with two different head sculpts. We do get the helmeted head, which looks really nice. And then we do get an unmasked John Paul Valley head. He also does come with several sets of hands. We do get a pair of fists, a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of clawing hands, and then a pair of hands for holding his cape. He does come with two sets of batarang launches, which do peg into his forearms really nicely, and then he does come with a grapple hook with a wireframe in it, which is really nice. Other than that, Knightfall Batman here does not come with any other accessories, so with that out of the way, let's take a closer look at Knightfall Batman. And so here we have Knightfall Batman, and I have to say that Mafex has done a really solid job with this figure. Now, that's not saying that this figure doesn't have flaws. This figure does have a couple of flaws that come because of the way he's designed, but overall, he looks just like he did in the graphic novel. Now, in case you guys aren't familiar with this particular version of Batman, this is John Paul Valley, who was Batman's successor in the Knightfall comic, where after Bane broke his back, John Paul Valley took up the mantle of Batman, and this is technically the Mark II of his Batman armor. This is the second suit that he wore, which I'm calling the Bane Breaker, because he did defeat Bane while wearing this outfit, and they did a fantastic job with it. The head sculpt looks so good. It's exactly like it looks in the comic book, and I absolutely love the metallic blue that they went with. There's a lot of nice sheens on this guy. We do have the metallic blue right here on his head and on his shoulder pads right here. Then we have like a lighter bluish gray right here, which also looks really nice. They do complement each other very well. It's a very menacing looking Batman, especially with his piercing red eyes. And then we go on to the rest of his outfit, where he does have this really, it's supposed to be a bat. If you guys can see, it kind of goes into the ears of a bat. And I do believe that this was the first bat costume to do the pointy shoulders. I could be wrong, but I do want to say that this is the first outfit that did it, and they did a really good job with it. Now, as you would expect, because this is a harder plastic, it does limit articulation, so do keep that in mind when messing around with this figure. Overall, he looks just like he did in the comic book. This is a very solid representation of the Azrael Mark II Batsuit, which, like I said, I call the Bane Breaker. Really good detailing here. You can see he has the gold right here. Well, it's kind of like a yellowish gold, but it still looks good. We do have that same metallic light blue on his abdomen, which is a really nice reflective metal color. So yeah, very good detailing here. He has a gray undersuit, which does reminisce of the bat suit. So I do like that little nod that he still has some aspects of the original bat suit, being the gray. Then we take a look at these gauntlets. They are menacing. Just look at how big they are. This screams 90s design. He does have a lot of sharp edges on him, which I would caution to be careful with this figure, because these, if they get snagged on something, they might snap off, because these are hard plastic. So if this guy takes a shelf dive or gets snagged on something, these do run the risk of breaking, so do keep that in mind. And then going on his gauntlets right here, I do like the design that we have on them. Right here, that's where the batarang attachment will peg in, and then on the underside of his wrist, that is where the grapple hook will peg in. And then I do like this design right here. You can see the color scheme matches the gold on his torso. This will be carried over into his Mark III Batsuit, the Night Quest Batsuit, which hopefully we do see, because that's a really nice costume as well. I know Mattel did it. I would love to see Mafex have their hand in it. And then we do have his hands right here, which do look a little bit weird, because his hands do have claws on them. And when it's in a fist, it kind of looks like he has like these spiked brass knucks, which that's pretty vicious, if I'm not gonna lie to you. He does have your standard Batman utility belt, but unlike most Batsuits, he does not have a buckle in the front, and it is a softer plastic, so this will get out of the way as you need it. We do have the gray suit right here, which looks good. Then, because this is a 90s character, pouches. He has a lot of pouches on his leg. What does he have in there? Probably bat gadgets, but yeah, really solid look for the figure. And then we go down to the rest of him, where he does have just solid gray down to his boots, and just like with his forearms, he does have these spikes coming out of the legs. Again, use caution when dealing with these, because again, these are a harder plastic, so these, if they get snagged on something, they might snap, or if he tumbles off the shelf, these will break off, so do use caution when using these. The final thing we're going to have a look at is his cape, which I do like this cape. It is a very nice soft material, and it does hang really nicely. Now the only downside is that he has a wireframe in his cape, and actually he has two wireframes. We have one, if the camera will focus, we have one right here at the edge of the cape, and then we have one, where is it? Oh, they're both at the edge of the cape. Yeah, you can see right here we have a wireframe, and then right here we have a wireframe, and it does make the edges of the cape a little bit heavy, so it doesn't droop like a natural cape would, but you can get it posed in some really solid position, so I do like that. So overall, Knightfall Batman here looks amazing. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Knightfall Batman posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Knightfall Batman posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And for one final comparison, here we do have Knightfall Batman posed next to the Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at Knightfall Batman's articulation. Now, he does have a double ball joint here in the head, which unfortunately, because of the way his helmet is sculpted, which we can get a look right here, they sculpted it very far down so he doesn't get too much upward movement, and he does get some slight down movement. He does tilt side to side. Most of the head movement is going to be done at the neck. Now, you're not going to really have Knightfall Batman looking up too well, but he does look down really nicely with that neck joint, and going to the side, to the other side, left and right rotation is fine. Then he does have that ball joint here for the butterfly joint, which does pivot back, does go forward, up, down, all the way around. Then we have a ball joint connecting the shoulder into that, so that does pivot forward and back as well, up and down, and then going out to the side. Of course, no limitations whatsoever. Now, going all the way around is impossible for this figure. He will get stuck right here. That's the limit of how far he can push his shoulder articulation, because this is a harder plastic, so you're not going to get past, like, maybe, I want to say, a little past 90 degrees. So yeah, he's not doing all the way around. He does have a bicep swivel, which is nicely hidden between the armor and the bicep, so really good movement there. Does have a double bend at the elbow, a little bit hindered by this massive gauntlet right here. As you can see, he barely reaches 90 degrees. I wonder if we do that joint first and then this joint. Same result. Let's see, bottom joint, top joint. Yeah, he's only getting about 90 degrees because of his armor right here, so keep that in mind. He does have a ball hinge here at the wrist, which does move in and out. We can rotate that to go up and down, and it's the same Mafex joint that we've seen in the past, no problem right there. He does have a double ball joint here in the torso, which does let him pivot forward and back. He can tilt side to side, rotates at the torso. Let's move his arms off because I'm worried I might snag into that. Leaning back, you can see he leans back, no problem. Leaning forward, he only goes to about right there, which is a little bit unfortunate. Now, he does get side to side better with this lower abdomen joint right here, which you can see works wonderfully. Then he does rotate here at the waist. Crunches very far forward at the waist. Look at how far that goes. That is a very deep abdomen crunch when you have it at the lower waist. Going back, not so much, but I would prefer this over this. This is the way that this joint should be designed every single time. And again, it does rotate, and this is a softer piece, so it does get out of the way. Legs are on the drop down hinge, so they do go down to about right there. Kick forward to about right there. Go back, out to the side, about 45 degrees, which is pretty acceptable. We do have a thigh swivel up high in the hip. double bend here at the knee. Very nice design on the knee. It's very flush and there's no gaps right there. As you would expect, no rotation from the knee down to the ankle, but the rotation is here, so he rotates nicely. We get a hinge that goes forward and back, and then because he is using a ball hinge instead of a ball joint, it does give you the option to have a true rocker ankle, so I do like that. And then finally he does have what I think is a very generous toe hinge. That is very generous for Mafex. So but Azrael Batman or Knightfall Batman has some pretty good articulation. Some of it is hindered, but that's just because of his design. And then again, he does have a wired cape in 2 places. We have it right here and right here. But other than that, it's a free-flowing cape. So overall, I like the way he came out. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Azrael Batman posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Mafex Knightfall Batman pose for my final thoughts, and overall this is an impressive looking figure. I love the detailing on this figure. It looks just like the Knightfall design, jumped right out of the comics, and it's a very, very nice sculpt. Now, that's not saying he doesn't have his issues. I do feel like the articulation on this figure could be better. Yes, he does have some really good articulation, but the articulation points in his shoulders is a little bit limited just because of his shoulder pads. Now, I don't know how Mafex could have gotten past that. Maybe softer plastics for his shoulder pads, but then again, it would compromise the sculpt work. So I don't know, it's really hard to say how they could have improved on this figure's articulation because it's just the design of the character. He really doesn't lend himself to being one of those agile characters. He was more in your face. This guy took out Bane, for crying out loud. So yeah, that's why I dubbed this version of Azrael Batman as the Bane Breaker Batman. This was a suit that took out the man who beat the Bat. So yes, this is a very, very nice figure, and he is perfectly designed for what he is. I think they went above and beyond for his design. The colors pop, and I really do like the metallic blues that they use, and I love the fact that the cape is really light. It doesn't hinder him, and it is light enough that it doesn't pull him back. Overall, I do give Azrael Batman or Knightfall Batman here a passing grade. Now, if you are looking for your very own Knightfall Batman, he is starting to hit stores internationally, so if you pre-order him from sites like AmiAmi or HobbyLink Japan, he will be shipping soon, if not already shipped. I did get mine off HobbyLink Japan. Well, he did run me about $70 or $68, which was a little bit cheaper than most Mafex figures. Most of Mafex figures run me about $75. Him running at about $68 with those little accessories that he comes with. I think that's fair. He doesn't come with the greatest amount of accessories, but he still comes with what you would need him to. And overall, Knightfall Batman here is a wonderful addition to any Mafex Batman collection. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other Mafex and DC videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.